Do you get pains on the bottom of your feet? Do you feel like you're super tight after every run? I have a very simple solution that isn't going to take very long to talk about, and maybe it'll work for you. Obviously, if you have a meniscus tear or you've shattered your shin, this probably isn't going to help. But for those of you who might just be overly tight, or it doesn't hurt all the time, it just comes up every once in a while, or maybe you take a day off and you're fine, and then you can come back and it's not like a serious injury. I think this is very beneficial, and it's something I've used a lot when it comes to training and just staying healthy. My philosophy is that most injuries boil down to a lack of mobility or flexibility, whatever words you want to use, or a lack of strength. To me, it makes sense that my knee hurts if my quad is overly tight because my quad is pulling on my knee, or the IT band, right? Sometimes the Achilles hurts, at least me personally, because my calf is super tight, right? So it's pulling on things. So that's one thing. And then also, if your legs don't have the strength, your body doesn't have the strength to endure the volume and mileage and pace, of course you're going to get injured. And so overuse injuries, that's a tricky word in my mind because, okay, maybe you overdid it, but did you overdo it because you're too weak or you get too tight and things hurt, right? Is it really that you can't run 20 miles a week, or is it because you can't run 20 miles a week because you're not strong enough and you're not flexible or mobile enough? So, sure, yeah, I ran a 212-mile week one time, and yeah, that was, of course, overdoing it. But I just think we jumped to the conclusion of like an injury too fast when really what we need to do is work on mobility and strength. And so this thing that I'm going to show you, I think is great for trying to improve some of that and is just a good way to stretch or work out the bottom of the foot. So for me, for $8, I bought a lacrosse ball. In fact, it was $8 for two. I just looked on Amazon, it's still $8. And this is an amazing thing for just rolling out the bottom of my foot. I don't do it a ton, but when I have certain pains or things that I'm noticing, I really like to, either, there's two options. You could kind of roll out the bottom of your foot as long as you're not going too crazy and hurting yourself before your run, or afterwards, before you cool down and your foot's all cramped up or tight from pushing and running. You could roll out your foot, or just I guess there's a third option if you don't have to do it before or after the run necessarily, but during a mobility session, or when you're just hanging out before going to bed, or when you wake up before you start your day. I guess you could really obviously just do it wherever. But what I've used this most commonly for is to warm up a little bit before my runs. I don't do it anymore, but I did for a while because I was dealing with some pains. And then afterwards is where I more commonly do this, but again, I don't do it all the time. It's more of a tool I use for when I have these things, and I do a lot of yoga. So I think for the most part, I avoid a lot of the typical pains that runners might have, and when they do come up, I have tools that I use to try and help become more flexible and have more mobility. So hopefully this helps you, and in general, you should be stretching. So excuse me, if all you get out of this video is that you need to be stretching, and you know you need to be stretching, and I know you need to be stretching, get to stretching, right? I have other videos on stretches you can do, or a very simple way to get stretching in without taking a lot of time. So I hope you got something out of this video. If you like running content, my name's Reese. That's what this channel is about. I'm trying to help people learn from my mistakes and overall just deepen their relationship with running, and while also staying healthy. That's important too, right? So if you like that stuff, maybe you could consider subscribing, and if not, I still hope you got something out of this video too. I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace!